Hello everyone, and welcome to the Hearthstone Weekly Walkthrough. This is episode number 2, and I'm your host, Tennessee Fafard, and I'll be featuring my Controllin deck. It is a warrior control-based deck, so obviously on the class warrior, and it's very, very heavy control. Very late game, it's got some good win conditions, and it's a very good ladder climbing deck for if you get good win streaks going, and it's also great to hold your legend spot. A couple of disadvantages is that the games take about 15 to 20 minutes long depending, so this video is going to be a little bit more on the long side, just due to the fact that these games were a little bit longer. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the couple games I'm about to cast. I'm going to cast 4 games, I believe, and again I'll be pointing out any mistakes that I see and running you through how to play this deck. It's kind of similar to a lot of control decks you've been seeing, a lot of the same cards, maybe with a couple differences here and there, but again, this is my version on it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Also, just as a side note, I just recently got picked up by No Dice Gaming's Hearthstone team, and got a couple good players there, so just shout out to them. And yeah, go check us out at No Dice Gaming, like us on Facebook and all that stuff. So you know, I'm gonna be streaming a lot more, so that'll be cool. But yeah, anyways, let's get on to the games. Alright, so here we have myself on the warrior spot versus a shaman. So again, this is around level 8 or 9. These videos are a little older, but again, this deck is still very top tier. And in fact, you might see a Twilight Drake come out, but I have made the switch. I've been playing around with the Drake and the Yeti, and I found that the Yeti was much more multi-purpose, just due to the fact that against the Shaman, in particular, this matchup, I might get Earthshocked, which instantly kills the Twilight Drake. And again, it's also depending on how many cards you have in your hand, so it can be good, and it also can be bad if you top deck it late game. So Yeti's just more multi-purpose, you know, 4/5 for a 4, same cost, and it's basically you can put it down any time of the game. So that's why I made that switch. So again, if you see a Drake come out, think of it as a Yeti. So here we get off to a slow start. Here, usually, starting off, you want to be mulliganing all of your top cards, like anything that's above 5 or higher. Sometimes you can keep the auctioneer if you want, but most of the things you want to be keeping are shield slam, your axe, cleave, slam, armor smith, cruel taskmaster, nat peggle, shield block, and acolyte of pain, and of course sometimes the Yeti, but usually not. You don't want to keep Whirlwind, it might seem tempting, and you don't want to keep Execute usually. So try to get off an early Armor Smith or Nat Peggle. As you can see here, I had both of them, so you probably see me playing them really quickly, and this is basically just to stall. Those cards are great because they pose threats on the board so that your enemy will eliminate them, and you can basically just armor up the entire for the entire duration of until turn 5 almost, and then basically that's when you start to take control of this game. So it's very good for stalling. Slam and Cleave are very good for that. Armor Smith gaining you armor. Cruel Taskmaster gets rid of those pesky 1-drops. So again, deck is very control early game, and I don't want to say it's too card dependent. Like as you can see, I have my Auctioneer, I have a Hellscream, I have a Brawl. It's like, what am I going to do with that? I even have a Whirlwind. But you can just see me playing these cards and how effective they are. See, he wasted a Rockbiter just to take out the Nat Peggle, which actually isn't even that big of a threat. But with this deck, it kind of is. So again, I have a good cleave there. I'll be able to cleave and win Whirl probably after this one. Yep, so I go ahead and do that. And I also gain 1 armor, so that's another plus from Wind Whirl. It also stacks onto Acolyte of Pain, which will draw you a card. So that's why I have those 2 cards in my deck. So you'll see him play a card that will stack with some overloads there, so I'm kind of worried about that. I think something that crossed my mind was a Tank Master. I don't have 6 mana, so I can't just shield blast or shield slam it. But we'll see. I think I might end up doing it though, we'll see. If I Tink Master here, I'm going to be very surprised at myself. Okay, I end up doing the Shield Slam, which is a pretty good play. That card probably would have gave him very good momentum going in, especially if we would have used something else. So there, again, could use Shield Slam on that, but I'm probably going to take the risk on a Tink Master, and/or, oh, I just top deck a Blood Hoof, so that's very good to counteract the Fire Elemental, because he can go ahead and attack that. He'll be left with 1 damage. And I'll just res another Karen. I wasn't too worried about the Hex, but again, Earthshock comes in, and you know, that's just a little unfortunate there. But we'll see how I bounce back. Hold on a second, I should probably mute my sound on my Skype. I totally forgot to do that, I'm sorry. Yep. So, sorry about that. As you can see, a couple plays came out there. I believe I shield blocked a couple things there, and then I take a lucky chance at Brawl. And of course, if you guys, I don't want to wreck Brawl for you, but just so you know, the last card that goes into a Brawl is, or sorry, okay, sorry. I guess it's too late, but cover your ears if you don't want to hear it. The last card that goes into the Brawl ends up coming out, so that's an interesting way they do it, which I don't know why. It kind of takes the fun out of it. So I got kind of lucky there, but Brawl for me is a really good card. In fact, you might wonder, it's like, oh really, you're leaving it that much to RNG, but basically, if you can play that with a Karen, you're going to get Karen back. You can also swap in Karen for Windrunner, which some people do, and I do it sometimes, depending on how the meta's coming along. It's a really good card, I think. It's a tempo card, right? Even if, oh my, like, let's say he gets one of his big drops, at least you cleared the board, right? Like, that's the worst case scenario, is that he stays with one of his big drops. It's like, oh, whoopsie-doo. Like, you know, what are you gonna do? So, I go ahead and Tink Master again, and of course the Brawl was in my favor that time, so Tink Master wouldn't be in my favor this time. Usually you don't really get lucky on 2 RNGs in a row. But I have 5-5 on the board, and I'm going to have to deal with it sometime soon. And I do have an Execute, so we'll see how I end up dealing with this. Now the Shaman's chucking out a whole bunch of mini cards right here, ends up playing the Axe, and I'm guessing he's going to take out the Tink Master, and of course he does. So again, just things I'm looking for here. I got a really good end game combo here with the Alexstrasza in the Hellscream, so we'll see if I do end up playing Alexstrasza, and I in fact do. Not too worried about the taunt. Like, you know, why wouldn't he have played it on that turn? He had 4 mana. I was obviously thinking to myself, so I really doubted he had one. He could have top decked it here, and again, I'm leaving it completely to chance. I do have lethal next turn if I end up if he ends up not doing a taunt. So I was a little worried. You know, what could this card be? There's no way it's the Defender of Argus. But he ends up just copying it, and I go, okay, that's basically GG, except for this. And so I'm just sweating, and he doesn't end up playing it. Plays a couple fake cards, trying to fake me out. He ends up running with that, and of course, even if it was the taunt, I could have probably attacked with Alexstrasza, unless of course he does end up doing the frog, but of course he doesn't have enough mana. So he ends up trading for Alexstrasza, which is alright. And then of course the good old game ender right here, Hellscream into Cruel Taskmaster, which is that 10 mana thing, or which is that 10 win condition, and of course right there 12, and he ends up quitting the game. So very good game there for sure. We'll get on to the second game right now, and basically I ran through, I think I think most of these are control games, and of course that's your best matchup. That's really when the control warrior thrives, is against other controls, because you know your stall is much more greater than theirs just due to the fact that you have armor. So you're going to be armoring up, and you're really going to... So if you're looking for a better control to beat control, definitely this deck is your... like gonna be your number one. So again, I have a really bad starting hand, to be honest. Like, look at all these 8-drops, so I'm not feeling too confident in my hand. You know, I have Acolyte of Pain, which is somewhat good, but again, Tankmaster, I'm probably gonna have to risk it playing it early if I want to end up with any chance of winning this game. So again, really slow plays here. I get to armor up, which is really good, and I'll play Acolyte of Pain. It's actually a good thing I got to go first, because if the Druid would have had gone first, he would have been up on me with 1 damage and also 1 armor. And all I would have gotten out was an Acolyte of Pain. So I get to play one here, which I'm assuming I do. I don't know why I wouldn't. Okay, I end up playing it, and again, this is basically just to stall it out a bit more, you know, draw maybe 1 or 2 cards. Even 1 card, it's a card cycle, right? So even drawing 1 card from that Acolyte of Pain is really good. So, you know, swapping out a card and getting 1 back. So I have a slam right there, and I have 4 mana. Now this is interesting. What I might do here, I have a couple options. I can Tankmaster, I can Cruel Taskmaster, Slam, then Cruel Taskmaster into Acolyte of Pain. So I technically draw 2 cards, and it looks like what I'm going to do right now. So I draw 1, and then I end up doing damage. I actually draw 3 cards, sorry, because you do the initial damage from the 1, plus it by 2, and then take out Dustingo there. So I ended up drawing 3 cards there, and I have 5 mana to deal with next turn. And I'm looking at the board right now, and it's a very good setup for this late game here. I got Ragnaros, I got the Hellscream, I got Alexstrasza, so I'm looking very pretty right now, especially with Karen coming up. I'll probably be playing him in the next 2 turns for sure. So I execute there, very nice. So I'm just going to armor up, and I basically don't have any other play. I actually, I had no play at all. I could have played Tankmaster, but it's really, what's the point? So total score is 33-3 right now in the life department. Again, I count armor as life because technically it kind of is. And so we have a 4-6 coming out there, and I have Shield Slam, so I can armor up and Shield Slam it, but I figure it's gonna be so basically just gonna leave it with 1 shy damage. So I end up playing Karen. Pretty good play there, and I plan on either executing it next turn or Shield Slam. That's basically why I made that play. I could have Wind Whirled and executed it, but it's basically just kind of whatever, because I wouldn't have had a minion on the board and would have left me very, very weak. So this is pretty great for me especially. Ends up doing the face damage, so you know, that's alright. It's not the worst possible thing. And what do I do here? To me, this would seem like a good time to just top deck to shield block. Probably shield block and something else. I'm kind of giving away the plays before I do it. I'm kind of casting my own games. I'm actually not too familiar with what goes on, like, so I'm basically just trying to remember what I'm doing. So looking at execute, I do like to kind of name out a couple of the options I have, because, you know, I'm human, I make mistakes, and so it looks like that was probably the best play for me. And again, now I'm at 40 HP technically, and he's at 27, so it's probably looking pretty scary to him, especially I'm getting into turn 8, so I can actually dump a Ragnaros on the board next turn, depending on what he does, and we will see. Ancient Allure, pretty standard at turn 7, so again I can easily play Ragnaros and then hope that it hits the Ancient Watcher. Even if it does face damage, that's still alright. And we'll see where the Ragnaros fires. And he fires at the face, so 8 damage on the face, which is pretty decent. And now I have Alexstrasza for next turn, and I'm not too sure if I play it, but we'll see. Usually in these scenarios I would play it only like usually at 20 it's like kind of whatevs, because yeah, that's 5 damage, but to be honest, I'd rather save it for like kind of myself later game. And again, right there we have a Windrunner coming out, so kind of playing a little counteractive there. So I won't be able to drop any of my huge drops because it will obviously be taken out by Windrunner. And we'll see what I do here. So I've drawn lots of cards. In fact, I have 3, 6... I have 10 cards in my hand right now if I count right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Yeah, so I have very, very many options here. Probably going for the Shield Slam, drawing another card, and then end up either executing. Again, very many options. I got the Auctioneer. Probably don't want to play it. So I'm going to cleave it out. End up axing and then Shield Slam, of course. So that's pretty good. I got the weapon out, and in fact I didn't have to waste... Oh, I didn't even have execute, so that technically was probably my only play. So I cleared the board pretty effectively and still ended up with 3 armor for... to basically set the tone for this game. So we'll see what he ends up playing here. I might end up Alexstrasing, depending. So the Ysera kind of freaks me out a little bit. I probably would Tink Master that, and then play Armor Smiths with Acolyte of Pain, something like that. So this is going to be the tempo switcher. And again, there it is, that's a squirrel. So that's going to change the tempo of this game into my favor, and I'm going to look to take control of the board and possibly head to a win here. And again, this is during this is basically the final games of my testing phase. I always like to test out decks in rank. That's why I usually don't like try to grind as much as I can, but I feel like this deck is very finalized for tournaments, and it should do well. It's really risky because now of the meta with the hunters and the murlocs and everything, this deck doesn't fare too well, which I know I'm saying this kind of late into the video. It doesn't fare too well against murlocs. It kind of does depending on your draw, but usually you might get beat by them, unfortunately. You know, they're just murlocs. Murlocs usually beat everyone, tend to beat everyone depending on their draw as well. To me, murlocs are 50-50. And so you have a 50-50 chance of beating them, right? You just gotta play your deck smart, hope that you draw some good cards out of it, right? And so he's got a pretty hefty board right now, 4-4 and a 4-6. And again, I'm winning on the HP scale. I do have somewhat board presence, not too overly though, and I'm kind of limited for as much as cards go. I don't want to Alexstrasza. I'll have an 8-8 out there that'll basically just die. Acolyte of Pain, Natpeg looking like the optimal choices here. May end up doing a Wind Whirl to get even more armor to resist the attack that will be coming, and then see what I can do. Like, Hell Scream is an option here. Like, you take 4 damage, it would enrage you, but I just don't think it... I wouldn't be able to kill the Drake, so the Drake would just kill me next turn and leave me very limited, so that's obviously not the play there. Alexstrasza, it can be good, because, you know, 8-8 out there, like, what do you, like... But again, the neutralize, so I'm probably just going to go for the safer play, basically a stalling play here. Get out the Whirlwind, draw a card, and gain a whole lot of armor as well. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4 armor I gained from that, just from her. And then I also draw 1 card. I don't know if I end up killing that. And again, I could have Wind Whirled again, I just didn't think it was too worth at that moment. So I decided to just armor up very much, and I have basically 40 HP right now, so that'd be very scary for any Druid going against, especially now that we're getting to the couple, like maybe last 10 of our remaining cards. And I always like to check the remaining cards. I probably haven't done it this game, but it's basically like checking your mirrors if you, for your drivers out there, which I'm sure most of you are driving. Basically like checking your mirrors, right? You know, you check the deck amounts in your hand and in their hand, because that can really affect the way you're playing the game. And so here, basically one of the only things I can do is brawl. So I did get a lucky armor smith there so I can play the minion, because you know you don't like to brawl on an empty board. So you play one, get a good brawl going in there, and of course the last one going in is the armor smith. So I got really lucky there. Again, you might be saying, oh Church, you're just getting lucky with these brawls. That's what this deck does. Like, it's one of the many bonuses to this deck. If you can get a lucky brawl, or even just like a half decent one, like what if his golem came back? Like, oh, that still cleared the entire board. That's what you have to understand. So it's a very huge tempo card, and it just changes the complete outcome of the game, and which basically it just did. So yeah, you see how I eliminated all of those cards, and even if the Earth Ring Fire or I don't know why I call it that, even if that card came out and the golem, either one of those cards I would have totally been fine with. I just got really lucky, of course. So Ysera probably the optimal play here. I could also Alexstrasza, but usually now that I have that 3-card combo, that is actually a 3-turn kill combo where you Growlhound into Straza and then attack with the hound, your weapon, and then you play a Hellscream. Actually, it's so it'd be a 3-turn combo, and it's really easy when you have so much armor like I do. So I'm sitting pretty comfortable right now. And here comes a swipe, and here comes another one. Wow! So he's really going all out on that Straza there, or sorry, not Straza. On the Ysera, ends up taking it out. A little unfortunate that I didn't draw the 5 damage one, but again, I actually really like the Laughing Sister card. I feel like it should be a real card, because there's only one type of card that you can't target, and that's the Fairy Dragon. So I think this card should be like a normal card, because there should be a little bit more diversity in the card specials, I guess. Like, to me, I think there should be 2 or 3 of the cards that can't be targeted. Like, I think that's really cool mechanic. So, you know, if you had more of them, as annoying as Fairy Dragons are right now, that probably might break the game. But as a, you know, as a designer and a fellow gamer, I think that'd really be cool to kind of add the same, I guess, battle effects of your cards into, like, have multiple of them, I guess is what I'm saying. So Nourishment coming out, drawing some cards there. I usually don't see that card, so it's kind of surprising just as to me right now, and it probably was when I was playing back then. Oh, a little animation shift there, or whatever. So again, I have my combo. It's looking really nice right now. I do have the Cruel Taskmaster, so that's also just right on top of it. So again, gonna Straza, take out the 5 there, and then do the 3 damage, knock him out. And again, you can, that's the thing, the weapon also clears minions. For those of you who don't know what that weapon is, it's a 7/1, and when you attack a minion, it takes away your attack. So it'll go to 6, and then 5, then 4, depending on what you're attacking every turn. So it only has the 1 durability, right? Its durability becomes its the damage. It takes 1 damage as a durability, basically. And so again, right here, it's basically GG, unless he can do some sort of magic, which I really doubt it, because even he'd have to penetrate my wall of armor, which he's kind of not doing. Again, Laughing Sister coming very clutch right there, so I can attack with Straza and also have Hellscream. So this basically is GG right now. And so that was that game. So a very good game there for me. I didn't make too many mistakes. It's basically just to showcase how good the control was. You saw me playing from very far behind, and then I got a good brawl, and I basically changed the momentum of the game and ended up winning. So again, probably not going to keep the weapon, so I end up keeping Cleave and Slam, you know, very good cards, especially against the Murloc, right? I couldn't risk throwing those away, right? So we'll see what it is right now. And basically from that pass, it kind of gives it away, but not too much. And so I didn't really think about it, but I kind of just assumed that, oh, it's probably not a Murloc. So I probably should have armored there, just in case, because I could have shield slammed, depending on what he played, of course. But then again, cleave. So actually, to be honest, Peggle was pretty good. And this is what I'm saying, Peggle. So if you can get that out right away, he just wasted a Hellfire on it, and then I don't know what it went away. A Shadow Bolt actually was that. So he wasted 2 cards on that Peggle, which literally doesn't, like, I don't need it. Oh, what is it? Like, it'll draw me a card? Like, it's basically just thrown out there to make the person freak out and use a Hellfire like that. Or sorry, Soulfire like that, and burn 2 cards. So it's great value and great stall, of course, right? And look at me, right now I have 40 HP, he has 28. It's just like, what is he gonna do? And obviously right now I know it's a control. And Warrior, if played very carefully, or not, I guess not played if carefully, or if played right, you know, just if you play it well, you're gonna end up beating the Warlock. One thing I have to say about it from my past experience going against Warlocks, they're usually sitting on always, all the time, when they get really low, which you'll get them really low, the Molten Giant taunt combo, so that's going to be really hard to deal with if you've wasted your executes, which you probably have throughout the whole game to maybe deal with Mountain Giants. So when you're faced with the opportunity of, or the decision of either going Hellscream and attacking face, or just like kind of playing a passive turn, go Hellscream, attack face, and then let him, and then you might be able, by that point you might have fatigue damage already proccing, because that's how late the game will be, and then deal with the Giants at a later date, right? Because he'll be at Jiraxis, he'll be at 15, and basically all you need to do is 3 or 4 more damage. I know it's kind of, like you might say, oh, that's pretty dumb, but you know, you would have basically just been wasting that on a giant, and then he'll just keep tapping out 6/6s, and then it's like, now what are you gonna do? So it's better to take that chance and see if he doesn't even have it, and do that face damage, and then hopefully get something like a Ragnaros or Ysera or something to top deck and win the game like that. So that's just my 2 cents on going against the Control Warlock. And we'll get back into the game. He Hellfired a couple of my things there. I still have lots of armor right now. I have 42 HP in a sense, and got Mortal Coiled as well. So he plays the Giant, and here I just top deck Tank Master, so I probably will play it here. I think Brawl's just way too risky, and we'll see. Get the Squirrel, of course, so I can auto attack into that, gain a card. Very nice. And then I'm probably just gonna armor up, you know, don't need to waste any of the cards. And again, you're seeing me not, like, I have 2 mana, right? You might think it's mana efficient, but you don't need to you don't need to draw a card with the Cruel Taskmaster, right? You know, just save it, because you never know when it's gonna come up. I've played this deck quite a bit, and doing those plays where you just like, oh, I could gain, like, because technically I could have gained 2 cards on that turn, right? It's an extra 2 cards. I just don't think it's worth. Like, you know, you can make them make the plays, and you'll draw cards that way. There's just no point in wasting those key cards. Like a Windwhirl Execute is just so good, so you want to hang on to that Windwhirl Execute. Same thing with the mana grind, or the armor gain, not mana gain. And here we go, so end up getting, another lucky brawl here. I don't think I meant to pick these videos just due to the fact that I got lucky brawls, but I'm getting quite lucky brawls here, I guess. That's just the thing, like, you know, that's how it goes. Again, Brawl for me is probably my luckiest RNG card. Like, you know, Nat Peggle's decent, Tank Master is really like 50-50, like it's screwed me over a couple times, but most of the time it's alright. But Brawl, that card has been really good to me as far as Control Warrior goes. I just think Control Warrior is very like premium right now, at a premium level of Mega Control, which is what I call it, which is when you get into like Mega late game, which is about turns like 12 and over. That's when Warrior's really going to shine, because they have so much armor, and you're seeing it right now getting into late game. It's turn 9. Look how much armor I have. I have 16 plus 30 health. That is basically 46 HP when you think about it. So that's gonna really hold on for me late game. And again, that just brings into when you're getting into fatigue. Sometimes both of you will draw out of cards, and then you'll end up winning because it's doing more damage to them than it is to you, right? So that's just another bonus, I guess. Warrior is very good in the fatigue stage, of course. So yeah, sorry, just typing there. And again, right now, so he plays a. I haven't seen that card in a while. Basically, I used to play that card a little bit. It's basically just a crappier, or it's basically a Distingo. It's 3 mana for the same stats, but it decreases, or it takes away a mana crystal. So it's just like, well, then that's 1 mana crystal you didn't have. So technically, it's a 4. So it's basically a Distingo, but in a Warlock deck. It's interesting though. I used to play it quite a bit. I can't remember what deck it was. I think I had it in my control. But again, throw out the Ragnaros, might as well. So I'm looking very pretty there, and he Siphon Souls it, so I'm a little upset that he has it, but of course you have to the control Warlocks, you know exactly. I've played it a lot, so I know exactly I mostly know every single card in the thing, or in the deck, and they usually run 1 to 2 Siphon Souls, so you always have to be prepared for those when you're checking out big things like Ragnaros and like Ysera, so you gotta think a little bit ahead, right? And that's how you play control, obviously. So I get a Ysera there. I got another Laughing Sister, and really enjoy my golden Ysera because I get all the golden cards. And so there's the second one. So again, counting it up in my head, now I got so now I can play Straza or Hellscreams very safely, and he probably won't be able to do anything about it. So I end up playing the Sunfury Protector, and I believe I haven't been paying too close of attention on this replay here, but I believe that was just the first one, so I probably have that in the back of my mind, and I'm probably going to want to draw some cards here, and while eliminating the board, so I might play the Engineer, I might not. Okay, I just decided to get some board presence here, which is, you know, alright. That's a pretty steady board versus him, and I might gain some armor, I'm thinking. No, just gonna end up doing that. Saving the Taskmaster, of course, for a Hellscream combo, because I'm gonna need to do that. Also, not execute. Whirlwind stacks with Hellscream. It just puts them to 10, not 12, of course, with that +2 damage from Taskmaster. And a lot of people like to run Enrage, I think it is, or something like that. It's a 0, and it does the same effect as the Taskmaster Battlecry. And I think it's really not worth, like, it kind of is in a sense. Like, you can give it to Acolyte of Pain. You can play Acolyte of Pain and then use that in the same turn and then kill something that's a 3. That's all fine and dandy, right? But I think it just burns a hole in your deck for sure. It's a card that just burns a hole in your deck. So I took him out of mine. I actually, like, you know, I fiddled around with them for sure. So if it works for you, like, it works for you, of course. I'm just showing you guys this is my deck. And if, oh yeah, this is probably too late to bring up, but of course I didn't have enough room to show all of the cards, so I basically just went half and half with those top and bottom ones. You can clearly see that that's a Ysera's head poking out, hopefully, and execute at the top there. It's kind of easy to establish from the color of the cards what those are. If not, that's what they are. I'll be posting the deck list, probably a proper version of it, in the description below, so you can check that out. So Hellscream here, pretty interesting. I don't know what I was really thinking. Maybe double, or no, not double executes. Well, I keep thinking executes are win whirls. See, I'm a little strapped for what to do here, because I know he's I know he's gonna be getting board control after this, right? Like by some type of giant, some type of whatever. So I need to reestablish board control while also trying to gain some cards here. So we'll see what I do, and I actually might execute. Yeah, I think I end up doing that because I end up drawing some cards. I could have played the Drake, but I'd rather not. I'd rather keep good card gain here. So execute there for just the Tink Master. Little bit questionable maybe on my part. For sure, looking back, but I think it was worth, especially that Jiraxis. Wow, a 26 HP Jiraxis. Now that's intense. Usually you don't see that, so it probably surprised me a little bit, just due to the fact that now I can just hold on to my Alexstrasza for myself, which is really good. But then again, maybe I want to play it a little bit early. So he takes out that, ends up summoning the 2/2. Did he have coin? He saved the coin that entire time. That's impressive as well. Usually you don't see that either. So I got the Drake, and again, imagine that as the, sorry, what was it? Chillwind Yeti, basically. So again, it's kind of good right now, but then again, it kind of isn't, because what if I only had 3 cards? You know, like, it's not the best thing in the world. And so again, this is where I decide to go. I was talking about this earlier this game. I'm like, I'm going to decide to attack him in the face. Look at, now he only has 3 HP. And so again, it's a gamble, but it's a risk you have to take, because like, what are you going to do? Like, I can play the Drake, and I can play the Acolyte of Pain, right? But what if he has the taunt? Like, all he has to do is summon another. He can actually just kill that with a Shadow Flame. Like, your options are very limited when he goes into Jiraxis form, unless you have like insta lethal. And this was close enough, so I was like, you know what, this is close enough. I'm gonna bank that he doesn't have heals, and we'll see what he does here. So he drops the Inferno, drops a Watcher, and then see, look, right again. Here's what I said. Here probably comes a taunt right now. There's the Owl, silences the Watcher, which is very interesting. Okay, so he doesn't even have a taunt. So again, my gamble paid off very well there, and I obviously haven't checked the cards there, but it's looking like his deck is getting very thin there. So again, do you see that? A 4/5 Drake, which is basically just a Yeti. So that's why I made that switch, and I recommend you guys doing that too. I took out that, did the 1 damage, hopefully. And again, he's running out of cards, so that means he has 1 card in his deck. So I basically have just won the game, unless he can double Molten Giant into taunts, which there's just 1 Molten Giant. But again, like I said, if I wouldn't have done that damage, if I would have waited till this turn, maybe, I don't know if I would have won. I might have, but I really doubt it, because maybe he would have played the taunt some other time. Again, that's just a risk I was willing to take, and it paid off in this sense. And it's all up to you guys, right, if you're willing to take those risks or not. I usually like to play a little risky in my game. I feel like when you take risks, they pay off. Sometimes they don't, and you know, it's whatever. So obviously I have Slam right here. I don't know why I'm using it. I can just like tap and then let him draw a card. Actually, no, sorry, I got to take out some of those guys just to not get some damage onto myself. So again, just drew his last card. So he's basically has lethal on himself, and he has no way of winning this game. He would have to like double that Golem or that Molten Giant's like damage or something. And you see just how effective the armor is coming into this late game right now. I have 26 HP. 26 HP, he has 1, he lethals this turn, and I basically win the game. And look how scary his board is right now, right? Jiraxis has crazy late game when he gets into Jiraxis form. That's why I'm referring to him as Jiraxis, even though it's a Warlock. So basically, that's what you should be doing, is like either taking that gamble, or if you don't take that gamble, he's gonna end up playing the double Molten Giant taunt. So another sturdy win there for me. I'm guessing these are all wins. I picked them for that reason, and I think this is especially a good game right here. I can't remember which was my crappy game. I remember having a crappy game where I made some really bad plays. Maybe it's this one, but I'm not too sure. I think it was one of my ones before, but yeah, so probably just gonna throw away Hellscream here, keep Slam. Shield Block's really good as well, you know, gaining that 5 armor will stack with a If you have a shield block and a shield slam, keep it. You know, you draw a card from it, and it'll get rid of whatever kind of big drops they have. So just a couple. Basically, what I want you guys to do and take from this deck is learn the combos that I've been doing all of these games that you've been watching. If you've hopefully been watching till this point, and I just want to like kind of wrap some things up as far as like clarity wise goes. And you got to know your combos, right? Like Cruel Taskmaster, it can combo with so many things. It can combo with Armor Smith, Acolyte of Pain, and basically any other card, right? So you want to keep that in mind. Shield Slam, you know, goes with your armor. Whirlwind does so many different effects. So you gotta really play this deck a lot. Like, don't get discouraged too. It's a really hard deck to play right at the start. Like, you'll be like, oh, you know, I'm doing terrible. I don't know how to play this. Keep at it. That's all I can encourage you. Keep at it. Play it. Test your friends. Maybe don't do it in ranked. And once you've mastered it, like I feel like I have right now, you can play it, and it's so diverse, and it'll get you a lot of good wins, for sure. So again, there's the Twilight Drake again. It's pretty good here, maybe, but again, I have the Chillwind Yeti in right now, so just imagine that as a Chillwind Yeti. So I got a couple plays here. This guy's obviously playing a token Druid, which I've tried to test out. It's not as effective. It's where you like play this, and then you actually that's actually one of my combos that I do. It's pretty hilarious because, as you can see, a 4/4, a 2/2, and a 2/2 at turn 4. It's like WTF. It's pretty crazy, right? So I can play the Drake here. A little bit of value there, maybe. Shield block and Wind Whirl won't do anything. Karen, don't have enough. But again, looking at these options, this is when I kind of like, you know, I could do the safe play and play the Drake. It's like, yeah, who wouldn't? But again, sometimes you maybe got to switch the tempo, right? And like again, the Drake was the safe play, and I end up going for it. But sometimes you might want to play the Tinkmaster. You know, Tinkmaster that 4/3. Maybe it's got some value in that. But again, he played another one, so it's totally fine what I did there, and it was actually the better play. If I would have Tinkmastered and made it a 5/5, that would actually been probably the end of me. So it's alright. And so I have it now, and I'm guessing I'm feeling pretty ballsy to do it right now. So Tinkmaster, get the 5/5, and I'm like, uh-oh, well that's not good. And we'll see what I can do to switch the tempo here. And yeah, so I'm getting some pretty good cards here. Brawl, pretty decent. I might end up playing it sometime soon, but I'm guessing Karen would be the safe play for me right now. I actually can shield block into a shield slam, which wouldn't be too bad actually. Get rid of that pesky dinosaur over there. But I end up going with the, I guess, maybe safer play. I don't think it would be the safe play. Getting out Karen in there. And actually, you know what, I'm thinking, I'm going back into my own mind, I'm probably thinking right now is the good play is, you know, he's going to attack my face, and now I can brawl, and when you brawl with Karen, you get 4 damage to whoever you want, which is obviously face, right? Because why would you attack minions that are going to die anyways? Or I could have attacked the golem there, and then make it spawn its minion if I was feeling lucky. But usually right now what I would do is I would attack face and then play the brawl, and the death rattle actually goes onto brawl. Same thing with the Windrunner, which I'm pretty sure I've said before. When you brawl, when Windrunner's on the field, it used to be really good because it was 10 mana, but now it's 11, so it has to be on the board prior, just like Karen does, so it's a little bit whatever. So even, and see, look, here comes the death rattle from both of those, but mine's more effective, right? So now I have that on the board, I'm going to take this out, and I'm basically going to shift this game right now, because the only thing that would help him out right now is a Ragnaros, and he doesn't have enough mana. He could innervate, but going back to the Windrunner, the death rattle will proc after the brawl has commenced, so that means whatever minion got left on the field, you're winning no matter what. If your Sylvanas stays on there, guess what? You have a 5/5 with the death rattle. If you got unlucky and, like, let's say the Ysera got kept on, like there was a Ysera on the field, then you steal Ysera, and it basically, that's the tempo changer. So that's just, I'm going into how Brawl is very, it synergizes with all these cards, right? I'm just showing you different options so that what you can do there with Brawl, of course. So I think Brawl is a very powerful tool. You only need one, and I think it deserves to be in this deck, just as a momentum changer. I always say momentum or tempo or something like that, game changer. It does. It changes the game up, and it can shift very drastically into your favor for sure. I have 2 HP, so let's see if I can make a comeback. I think this is why I saved this video probably for last, is because I probably make an epic comeback, but we'll see how it goes. I don't know, maybe, usually I like to throw in maybe one loss, just to show you guys how it was played and like how I lost or something like that, but we'll see. So I end up gaining 7 armor from that. I'll probably end up taking out, oh, okay, I end up wind whirling that, which is very interesting. Considering so again, this is probably that game that I was telling you about. I probably made a couple minor mistakes here. One being not playing the Acolyte of Pain, maybe. I don't know. It's interesting. I guess that was an okay play right now. Probably not the best now that I'm thinking back on it. So I got the Auctioneer, so now I'm thinking, oh well, you know, whatever. But now I can actually Auctioneer into Shield Slam, take out the Drake, and basically cause a huge downward spiral for him. A downward spiral from him. Jesus, I can't talk anymore. Casting 4 games in a row just really does it. Also shots my voice as well. So yeah, a couple plays here. Acolyte of Pain, Auctioneer. Obviously Auctioneer Shield Slam seems pretty optimal right now. I could Ragnaros into run Karen into the Drake, but I don't think that would be the best play, obviously. I think drawing the card is the best play. I'm obviously AFK or doing something else. Or just maybe really thinking. So yep, Shield Slam into the Drake, draw a card, and it's an Armor Smith. So I think I end up playing the Armor Smith, which is probably the safer play because you can stack up armor, especially when I have 8 HP technically left. So it's 8 to 21 in a sense with my armor. So there's another Drake, and he's obviously probably looking to do some type of swipe here. And he doesn't actually have it. Maybe he was drawing for it, so that tells me he was drawing for a swipe, and he doesn't even have it right now. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have played it, right? And so this is actually I'm feeling very confident in this game. I got another shield block, which is quite amazing. And we'll see what I can do here to maybe pick up this win. Got Ragnaros, and I have 2 spells in my hand. I can't play one of them, unfortunately. So yeah, Cleave, a little bit of a dead card in my hand right now, but you know, maybe it'll clutch up in the near future. So a couple options here. Drawing cards is basically my biggest concern right now because I don't have too many, so shield block seems pretty optimal. I get a slam, gonna slam, draw even another card, and again slam will draw you a card and then it will also draw another card, so it draws 2. Again, this is the synergy that I'm talking about. I'm really hammering it down on this last game on you guys. I'm nailing it into your brains that look at that synergy, because I even forgot about it. Slam draws a card into Auctioneer, which draws another card. That's 2 cards for playing 1. That's pretty ridiculous when you think about it. And then it's you got a 4/4 on the field, right? So again, this is just a huge momentum shift right now, and I have 15 HP technically, so I basically tied it up, and I have quite major board control right now. So we'll see. Keeper of the Grove, probably gonna silence it for sure. and he ends up playing the Murloc, which is the tokens, of course, and that's not bad. I ran those as well in my token deck, and that combo is pretty decent. It might have put a stop to me, but let's see if it does actually put a stop to me. I think Cleave would be an optimal play here just because I have it now, and we'll see what I hit. Okay, it took out the 1, so that's pretty decent for sure. Probably wouldn't be too concerned about taking away some life here, which would technically be the armor. And again, as you can see with my auctioneer up there, he's just drawing cards like a madman, and it's good because it's the trading, like it's trading cards, right? You know, the 1-for-1s, how to play your cards effectively. When you have auctioneer, when you play all of your spells, which you do have a lot of spells in this deck, you're playing the 1, you're doing something with it, and then you're gaining a card. So it's just like, it's the 2-for-1s, right? You're doing a play while gaining a card. It's those advantages that really make this deck special, and I think it's really viable in high level play, of course. You know, I'm running it, a lot of my teammates I would say are running it, and a whole bunch of other pros right now as well. So, you know, I got Ysera, so I've obviously drawn a lot of cards to get into Ysera, and I believe I've calculated it up, and I have enough to do lethal here. And again, this is what I'm talking about. This is it. The Whirlwind, and I gain a whole bunch of armor. Oh, technically no armor for that because it's silence, but I basically just made that a 10, and I just won the game there. And so that'll probably wrap it up for me. I think if you guys are interested, I'll move the deck list up. So the deck list is right there, and you guys can just see it. And thanks for joining. You know, I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys stay tuned, or not stay tuned. I hope you guys attend my or view my next one. That'll be number 3. And it depends on what deck. It's basically I do these on what deck's working for me at the moment, you know, which ones I'll be bringing to tournaments, right? So this is actually pretty risky for me to do this, because that like is a tournament ready deck I would consider for myself. So usually I don't like to do that, but of course, you know, I love you guys as a community out there playing Hearthstone, and I hope you appreciate what I do for you guys, showcasing some of my decks. And you know, again, big shout out to my team, No Dice Gaming. Definitely check us out on Facebook, Twitter. We don't have an official website yet. It's getting like really redone and stuff like that. But there's we're gonna do some damage in tournaments, right? So hopefully that'll be cool. And of course, don't forget about Lonely Old Me. Give me a like on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Subscribe to me on YouTube. And again, comment on this video. Tell me what I've done wrong. Tell me if you don't like me. I don't know. Haters gonna hate. It's whatever. Tell me what I can do better for next time. Maybe you didn't like the length of this video. I felt it was kind of necessary just due to the fact that it's like Mega Control Warrior. So, you know, tell me what I did wrong. Tell me what you want to see. Maybe tell me what class you want me to showcase, right? Again, I'm open, and you guys just comment. So I really appreciate the views and the likes and the subscribes. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys next time for episode number 3. See you guys later.